joined in, they did a protest, but what they did, they messed up. They held the whole yard hostage when that's not what we did. At that time, I'm gonna be honest, when we didn't communicate with them, and so they were just trying to follow suit in good faith, to get shit done too. But they didn't know the situation, like the full scope of what we were doing and how to do it correctly. So what they do, they shoot everybody out. When the blacks do it, they end up taking the fucking TVs from the section. So I'm like, man, fuck it. It worked once, it's gonna work again. So we do it again. And this time, what they do, they shoot me across the street to Sad F on a fucking 30-day cooling period. I don't talk to nobody. I don't see nobody. I mean, just other fellas, other homies, There's a wall, so you don't see nobody. But they wrote me. I told them what happened, what's up. They brought me back. Now, my case is still pending, my court case. So they bring me back. As they bring me back, they move me buildings now. They don't want me in 4A, 4 left no more. Now they move me to, I think, 2A, 2 left. So now I'm busting the same shit everywhere I go. You don't do what you're supposed to do. If you're holding property for somebody, or, you're just not doing what you're supposed to do, I'll have some, we'll talk about it and have people refuse cellies. Now, this whole time, they're fucking pissed because they're like, where are you getting these directions from? Who are you getting your direction from? Matter of fact, one time when I go to the county jail, I go back. That's another thing. So I go back to the county jail. I appeal my case. I skipped that. I'm going to have to stop that. Okay, we're going to cut here and go somewhere. We're going to cut here. So I go to trial for attempted murders. The judge tells me, you're going to take a plea deal for 25 to life, or you're going to do 100 and some years before you're eligible for a parole. And the lady that was typing, the court reporter, she gives me that smile like, I don't believe this fucking chump. So I'm like looking at this fool. I'm like, fuck, no, I ain't taking no deal for 25 to life. We're going to trial. So we go to trial. We going to trial. I'm like, I'm writing this shit out. It's all or nothing, man. Are you ready to die? I'm ready to die, motherfucker. You trying to take my life away. So I fucking, I go to trial. Before I go to trial, we're doing trial jury. This lady, she's kicking off all the girls from my fucking trial, from my thing. Every time there's girls there, they see me make eye contact, bam, they're gone. Well, I don't even end up knowing who my fucking trial ends up being. We just starting to go to trial. So concentrating on trial, I don't even realize who's in the jury. I'm trying not to look at them. I don't want them to be intimidated, or I don't know what the fuck at the time. I'm just like, don't look. And so we go to trial. My road dog, supposedly my road dog, who testifies against me. Everybody testifies against me. Made me look really bad. They came back with a verdict, not guilty on 4 counts of attempted murder. Guilty. When they read the not guilty, there's 2, I believe it was 2 black women that they looked at me, and I believe one of them winked at me and smiled and shit. I could have sworn she winked at me and smiled like, don't trip, and that was the best they could do. And you know what? God bless them, because shit, I couldn't end up with 100-some years to life and shit. And so I ended up with 3 counts of assault with deadly weapon, GBI, and 1 count of intimidating witness, which I fucking did not do at all. My fucking road dog, he gets caught in the street with some kind of weapon. I don't know if it was a samurai sword or a police baton. They threatened him and told him if he testifies against me, he either gets leniency or they kicked out the fucking case. And the motherfucker got on the stand and testified against me with some shit that never happened at all. And yeah, I was pissed about that. I was hot because that food used to eat at my table, Like, even my mom, he used to hang out with me and my mom, and, we treat that food like he was part of the family and shit. And this motherfucker sold me out for a mistake that he made and shit, you know what I mean? And so anyways, back to the shoe. I get my appeal back, and these motherfuckers give me 2 years on top of the 13 years I already got. So I'm like, God damn. What the fuck? This is how the system works? Like, first of all, I didn't even do this crime. I got convicted of the crime, got like 2 or 3 years for it. Now you're giving me 2 motherfucking more years. And so I go to court, and they sit me down to next to some girl. And the girl starts telling me that she's related to a big homie and all that shit. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I knew who he was. I was like, yeah, I heard of him. And she starts conversating with me. But later on in life, I'm thinking like, man, I wonder if that was true, or she was just, an informant, or trying to get some information to get some leniency. Because, all the other times I went to court, I never sat next to no girl. She was like in the distance where I could have grabbed her leg or something. I went to court for a year, never sat next to a girl. There was always people coming out, and just so happens this day, just me and her just chilling there. You know what I mean? Like, I think I could have macked on her if I wanted to. So I'm like, shit, ain't no coincidence in life, man. Everything's meant to be for a reason, And the good thing is I don't know nobody. I'm just making my own decisions for the benefit of us as a group, And it's not even making my own decisions. I'll put the information or my thoughts out there, and just people would, most of the time, they'll agree and think it was a good idea, and we'll push forward as a group. But these dudes, which when I say these dudes, I'm talking about the officers or whoever's, at the bottom of this shit. These fools are steadily on my bumper because they don't like resistance to the control they have over us, and to the fucking torture, and and their tactics to make us bend to their will. And so they've been getting away with it for so long that when somebody comes and opposes their idea of what justice is, to it's not even for society, it's for them. It's not even, they don't. I don't even think they're doing good to the people. I think they're doing what they want to believe is good. Their rules on top of what the rules that have been set already are. So that goes back to what I said. They're trying to flush me out, trying to see who I'm in contact with, who do I know. I don't know nobody. I just know what's up here. I just try to do what's right. From what's wrong. So let's get back to the story now. I'm going to trial. I still have the pending 115. Now these dudes are on me. They're trying to make me break. They're pulling me out for the hearing, and I'm going back and forth, postponing my hearing. Hold up. They're trying to get me, to hear my 115 hearing before my case is decided. But I didn't feel like that was in my best interest. So I would go down there and, I'll postpone it, and I'll take it off, and I'll postpone it again, because I was just trying to stall for time until I fix my case in the courts. And so I would have run-ins with the officers there. They'll pull me down. They'll try to intimidate me. They'll pull me down with 4 or 5 officers. They'll, their chest would be like right here, all up in my personal space. And so at one point I got tired of it. I'm going down there to talk to the sergeant. The sergeant is hearing the case, but I got like 3 or 4 dudes that want to be talking to me. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I knew what they were doing. They were trying to intimidate me, but I'm in a fucking shackles, and what the fuck you gonna do to me? You gonna beat me up? Man, I've been beat up before. Ain't no problem and shit. I'll go back to my cell, and I'll sleep comfortably. I'll probably sleep even better. Like, damn, by the time I get a good night's sleep in this fucking place. But so they'll take me down there, and so I got tired of this shit. They fools would be pushing up on me, like invading my space. I'm there to talk to the sergeant, which is the one here in the 115. But I got all these other motherfuckers thinking, they the smartest fuckers in the world. So, I had a flex on them one time. I was talking to the sergeant, and these dudes side busting, and I was like, just excuse me, sir, like, who's talking to you? Who is talking to you? I come down here to talk to the sergeant, who? What do you have to do with this shit? You're here for his protection, you know, motherfucker. Like you ain't here to be speaking. Oh, these fools was pissed, man. They got mad. Woo, they were hot, bro. Woo, they were hot. Anyways, yeah, uh, finally, I decide to go forward with the 115 case. And as I go forward with 115 case, I start reading up. No, actually, the counselor comes to my fucking door saying something like, okay, you're going to go to committee. We're going to give you 56, I think it was 56 or 62 months. I couldn't remember. And I was like, man, I've been in the shoe almost 5 years now. The fuck you going to hold me for that much more time? What's that, like 3 or 4 more years? I was like, hell no, you tripping. Something's wrong here. So I started looking in the book. And my charges hold like 3 months. I didn't even realize that now I've been in a whole year and a half extra. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I called the counselor back. I get her attention. She's on the chair. Like, excuse me, can you look into that? You know, I think you're wrong and shit. She goes, no, I already looked into it. I'm like, can you look into it again? So she's like, all right. She gave me one of those all rights, like, yeah. So I see her again. She's like, I already looked into it. I told you, this is what you're going to get. So I was like, ooh, something's wrong here. I know they're playing me. So that's when I was like, fuck this shit. So they take me down to committee. And, you know, they're all there. There's extra people in the committee room. And I'm like, what's going on here? You know, there's some captain in the back. There's some dude with a big-ass brochure, the warden. I believe he was the warden. He looked like an OG gangster and shit. You know, he wanted to be a gangster or something. And so they start turning my charges and, you know, going with the kangaroo type shit. You know, they're there to decide how long I'm gonna stay in the shoe. So they pretty much just sentenced me to the shoe. How much more time? So when they do that, I go, excuse me, sir. This charge doesn't even carry those months. It's before I even get those words out of my mouth, we got the captain just pops off. You're lucky. I don't know. I think he started cussing like, "You lucky motherfucker. You're lucky that they rolled it up like that." And he just pops off at me, and I was like, "Woo, bingo! Got these motherfuckers. Got them again. I got them again." They don't like that shit, so they had me sitting out there. They kicked me out into the fucking hallway. I swear to God, they had me sitting out there, like standing out there for like I believe it was 2 hours. It could have been an hour though, but it felt like a long time. It felt like 2 hours. And when I go in and I got a big ass smile on my face, cause I know I won that one. And the fucking you smiling, huh? You think it's funny, huh? And he goes, all right, this is what I'm gonna do with you. You know, we're gonna let you go, but we're gonna let you go off to the yard where the homies were fighting the bulldogs, and the homies were catching the blues there, because obviously these fools got all their knives and shit on the yard, and new people rolling up with nothing but fucking state issue shit. You know, they're getting chopped up, they're getting stabbed up. It's all bad. So he goes, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do for you. I'm gonna send you out to this yard, you know, we'll see you soon. And I was like, oh, you motherfuckers. And I started thinking about it, like, oh shit. Bam, not even an hour later, they're fucking walking me to the yard. And the officer's walking with me. He knew it was wrong, because he was just like, he was quiet and he was looking at me like, man, you know. And then before we got there, man, he just whispered like, be careful. And that was it, you know. So I'm fucking, woo, as soon as I get in the fucking building, I look up to the tower. Nobody's in the tower. I'm like, oh, shit. So I start scanning the fucking doorways like, fuck, I know somebody here. I know somebody here. So I go up the steps and I'm looking. There's nobody out there. But as soon as I go up the steps, I see somebody I know. He's like, don't trip, I got you, bro. Because, you know, you're living a crazy life there. These motherfuckers come out of nowhere and just chop you up, man. You know, you put holes in your ass and shit. So luckily, I made it to the cell. But come to find out, I'm not even allowed on that yard. It was a 270 yard, and I come out from all this violent shit that I'm not even supposed to be on that yard. I have to do 2 years on a 180 yard before I'm even eligible for consideration to be on that kind of yard. So, I mean, it was a blatant disregard of the rules, and obviously it was an attempt, you know, to get me hurt, or, you know, put me in a position where, you know, my life would be in danger, you know. That's the life you live when you find the system, man. And, you know, it's fucked up to say that, you know, if I say fighting the system, it's like if I'm trying to go against the the rules, but in actuality, all I wanted was the whole time was them to follow the rules. So you're in a fucked position because you're damned if you do and if you're damned if you don't, and so it's like the old saying goes, um, I refuse to be a sheep, amongst wolves and shit. So, I'm not only talking about my own comrades, my own camaradas, that, we got a bunch of killers and shit, but shit, we got these cops out here, they're killers too, and cops, COs, I use cops interchangeably with COs here. Obviously, I'm only seeing COs out here. I don't mean to put that on these guys out here, although the system now I see is, something that needs to be worked on. But that's another subject for another time. But anyways, now it's clear to me that I'm a motherfucking target, and by the system. It's clear to me that that they don't like me speaking up, and not just me. They don't like anybody who speaks up, and anybody that speaks up will be targeted, for retribution or not even retribution, for revenge. Revenge to try to push, human rights issues, basic things we got going, shit that's written in their laws and rules that are written in their own books that they refuse to follow, and they don't want to follow. And when somebody makes them follow it, they don't like it. So my journey continues. Now I go to SADF, and I hit the SADF. I hit there. As soon as I get there, not even 2 days later, woo, I got IGI, Institution of Gang Investigation. Bam, pops into my cell. And I know this dude, I recognize him. I don't know him, I recognize him. And he goes in the cell, he pulls out some Southside stuff, some Sureño literature. And I ask him, like, hey bro, what are you doing here? Don't you work across the street? And he starts laughing at me. He's like, yeah, this is the point, whatever, get rid of it. And I'm like, what the fuck? Well, in that section, what they were doing, they created a system to hold people back, which is called the BMH unit, I think, Behavior Modification Unit, BMU. So people that were getting out from doing their shoot terms, or if I was somebody who messed up a lot, I would do a shoot term, and then I'll do a short 6-month increment indeterminate shoot, which decided your behavior. So you do 6 months and they'll review your behavior and let you out, which is what I had got out of. So they let me out to that unit in SADF, but they were taking people's stuff and putting them in another unit, which you're pretty much doing a whole another shoot term, another term in the hole, because they're taking your personal property, and restricting what you can have and what you can't have and how much you go to start with. And so they're keeping people after they serve their discipline, and they're disciplining them again. So luckily, I knew some people that pulled some strings to pull me out of that building. And when they pulled me out that building, I landed in the building, the White House building, the building where all the fellas are, where all the people that know people are. I show up there, I don't know anybody, but, just people that I done shoot time with and stuff like that. And so I get there, and low key, I get there and it was all good, man. I get there, they put a fat ass bag of store in front of my cell. I felt good. I hadn't been eating good for years and shit. I'm fucking like at less than 10%, probably like 5% body weight. I'm fucking, the greatest shape ever. Maybe not by choice, but by will. And yeah, so I roll up there, fat food, fucking honey buns, sweets, all the kind of shit that you ain't eating in the shoe, or if you're eating, you probably getting half a piece that one of the homies done split up with you just to share, so we ain't fucking starving out there, especially since they continue raising the restitution, or how much money they take from you every time your people send you money. Like I said, it was a war of attrition. They're trying to keep you at starving in hopes to make you bend to their will. Luckily, we have a lot of solid motherfuckers, but I can tell you what, a lot of food started dropping and that restitution went up. That money that you had to give out your pocket, because we're accustomed to sharing with each other. But, those people that couldn't withstand hunger pains. And, they decided, sharing the business, and it's a war. It's a divide and conquer war, and it's mental, it's physical, and while we're busy here fighting each other, you know, they're concocting plots of how to make us fight each other as soon as we decide to get along again. And what's next? What buttons they're gonna push next to make us face off, and how they're gonna push us against each other and make us not agree on things, not only within our own factions, but more so against each other's faction, against races. California is a racist thing. It's a race thing. So as long as we're fighting each other, they're sitting pretty. When I say they're sitting pretty, the COs and the California prison system is sitting pretty. As long as the Mexicans and the whites and the Asians, the others, Indians, whoever I might forgot. As long as we're fighting each other, they're happy, and their crooked ways continue. And so my thing is, when I get places and I see that things are wrong, I don't gotta convince people that this is what you're supposed to do, because all I want is for them to follow the law, the COs to follow the law. So when I present these things, people are automatically, they're like, yeah, that's right. We're with this. We'll join the force. We'll join, join the cause, and they don't like seeing that. They don't like seeing people get together and standing as one. So now I go to Side F, sitting pretty, eating what I want. I get whatever I want. But the only bad thing is, that's when I was introduced to fucking drugs, man. I've been clean for like 7 years, I think. Around 7 years, I've been clean. Not a smoke. Yeah, I didn't smoke or do drugs for about 7 years. But that's when I got introduced to fucking dope, and and it's in prison. It's easy to fall into using dope. I guess it is anywhere, but when you're doing a stretch of time, when you're getting out of the stress of mental and physical warfare, not only against your other people, not only against other factions, but now you got the cops on your ass, the SEALs on your ass. Not only for the a mistake that you make, but for trying to do the right thing. These fools are after you. You're like the hunted, and you ain't got nowhere to go. So you gotta put your back against the wall and just fight it off as best as you can. And they might have had my body prisoner, but I didn't want them to get my mind imprisoned. So it was a war that we faced, that we faced, because usually people agree with what the ideas and concepts that I had, which again leads to the bigger story here, which was and is that I've been a target of the law, even when I didn't break the law. And so now I'm inside F. I make a bad decision. I go fucking sell up with these dudes. They're homies, good ass homies. I ain't gonna lie, but they're fucking dope fiends. And that's where I started using. The first time I started using drugs in like 7 years. Well, fucking homie, getting drinking one night, getting fucked up. The homie decides to fucking shoot up. I'm asleep. Fucking I wake up, I hear fucking banging on the fucking wall. I hear banging at the fucking door. I was fucking drunk as fuck, asleep. I was drinking some White Lightning. I had barely got introduced to White Lightning. I heard all the stories of White Lightning, and when the homie asked me what you wanted, he thought I was asking some drugs or something. I was like, hell no, I want some White Lightning, my boy. He's like, all right, I have that cooked up for you. Well, anyways, I'm moving with the homie. We're getting fucked up off some good ass White Lightning, man. Getting fucked up. I think they shot some drugs under the door for him, and I told that fool, I don't believe I had used it at the time yet, and I told that fool, hey fool, just wait till tomorrow, we're fucked up. I was so fucked up I couldn't even see, man. I was eating spaghetti or something like spaghetti or some shit. I couldn't even finish my bowl. I was like, hey bro, here you can have this. I'm like, they shot that shit in the door. I was like, hey bro, just do me a favor, wait till tomorrow, bro, because we're drunk as fuck, and then if we were gonna start, or he was gonna start using, I was gonna have to babysit him. So I was like, just do it tomorrow. He's like, yeah, for sure, bro. Tomorrow, we'll do it tomorrow. Fuck. I'm asleep, waking up, banging on the wall, banging on the fucking door. And I'm like, man, I'm fucking pissed. Like, what the fuck you waking me up for? So I go to the door, man. I shit you not. I don't even know how I stepped over this dude. I stepped over my celly. Good ass homie though, but just make bad decisions. And he's like, man, what's wrong with your celly? I was like, what the fuck? And he's like, what's wrong with your celly? And so I'm like, what the fuck you mean? And I look down, and my celly's fucking out, fucking spread out like fucking Jesus on the floor with a motherfucking jeringa, fucking a motherfucking what do you call that shit? A needle in his fucking vein, man. So fuck, he's out. His fucking eyes are rolled back. I fucking slapped that fool in the face like 2 or 3 times, like trying to wake him up. And low key, I think he smiles at me, but he don't wake up. But this fool's dead, man. I'm like, fuck. So I fucking get the jeringa out. He got some fucking drugs. I'm sprayed around. I'm looking for everything I could look for. Flushing that shit. This fool's fucking. Oh, the cop fucking screams at me like, cuff up, motherfucker. I'm gonna spray if you don't cuff up. I was like, fuck you. First I told him, let me put my shoes on. He's like, no, cuff up. I'm gonna spray your ass. And I was like, man, I think I told him, fuck you or some shit like that. And I went to put my shoes on. And I started looking for the drugs. Took the jeringa, the syringe, grabbed it, flushed it. I started looking around the best I could look. And I couldn't find nothing. And fucking, I was like, fuck it. This fool's dying or he's dead. Let me fucking, let me cuff up, man. Fuck. So I cuff up. They take him out. They revive that fool. Well, in the process, that fool had some fucking drugs. I could tell you all the shit that's on the 115. And the drugs had gang shit. It was marked with gang shit on it. Like, like the shit they shouldn't have said. Like I think said casa dope and personal dope and shit like that. So like here we go again. If I wasn't already a fucking target, everywhere I go it continues. So now they got us on fucking. Now we're slammed down. Everybody's slammed down. And what they do, they let everybody out, and then they let us two out. And the cops are just sitting there waiting to see if we get blasted because we know the homie lost some house of dope, whatever. But at that time they were doing it big, so that shit wasn't no big deal. And so they were waiting for, they were watching. I could see them watching us like, man, these fools gonna get dealt with right now. And they don't do nothing when nothing happens, because nothing happens. So we go back in, slam down, no more program. And I'm fucking, this time my celly's fucking dirty ass, dingy ass. He's cool. I love that fool. He was good. He fucking had a fucking staph infection in his ass from scratching his ass with all that fucking dope. And fucking, he didn't tell me, and I sit down on the toilet, and I fucking get a fucking infection in the same motherfucking place. And so now I'm asking for medical assistance. At first, I'm just getting ignored, totally fucking ignored. The lady's not listening to me. And eventually, they take me out, they bring me back in, but they don't bring me no medicine. So I'm like, where the fuck's my medicine? So I'm complaining, and they're not doing nothing about it. Lady straight disrespecting me, just told me like, stop crying, in so many words. And I was like, fuck, man. So finally they called me out to fucking medical, and they called my celly out too. And we had a fucking feeling though. Just got started, man. Didn't touch a fucking honey bun. Didn't touch shit for fucking using drugs, man. We decided to do drugs and didn't eat shit. And well, my celly had had the feeling. We had the feeling like something wasn't right. Sure enough, bam, to the hole we go for the drugs. I think I didn't even know at the time. Yeah, I think my celly hadn't even told me at the time. He was keeping it a secret to see what happened. low key, I guess it was a blessing or some shit because I go there, my fucking shorts were fucking full of pus and blood, man. I was getting no medical attention, and I seen some lady. It was a chick, and I go, hey, excuse me, ma'am. You know, I know, we're doing this, we're back here, and we're going to the hole and everything. But look at my shorts. I'm fucking something's wrong with me. I need this medical attention, and she ended up helping me out. She got them to come give me some medical attention. I don't remember her name or nothing, but it was a female officer that helped me out. I remember that. And fucking now yeah, we go to the hole, and so we split up. Now the cops are asking like, why you guys split up? What's going on? He cops to the drugs. Telling them they're his because they were his. I didn't even know about that drugs. That was some other shit. But I even put him in for a witness, and the cop said, "Nah, this shit yours and shit, and this is what it is. What are you gonna do?" They make the rules and they shape them to their will. However, I'm guilty. Fuck you, you're guilty. You got no choice, man. There's nothing I can say. You ain't got no choice. You're guilty. That's it. So yeah, I'm stuck there. Now the whole time when I first get there, I'm getting into it with the property officer, and I ended up getting into the sergeant. I believe that in that hole, we got to have our TVs there, which was cool. That hole, they would do random searches, and I believe they had two. They could search it twice a week. I believe it was twice a week, and so I got searched twice a week. Well, one of the homies across the way was paroling. He had some badass Air Force Ones, and they were practically brand new. And he was paroling, and we used to get along really good. And I believe he worked in a morgue or something. He said he used to do something like that. Well, he left me the shoes. So I got the shoes, put them in my cell. Later on, the officer, I believe it was the sergeant. I can't remember if it was the sergeant or I think it was the property officer. The property officer came. Oh no, it was the fucking sergeant. I believe it was the sergeant. He came looking for the shoes, and he's like, "Hey, cuff up." I'm like, "Cuff up for what?" And he was like, "I need you to cuff up right now." Yeah, he was like, "I need you to cuff up right now." I was like, "No, no, 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 no." Your rules say that you guys got 2 times to come up in here and search. And you guys already searched 2 times this week. I ain't cuffing up. So this fool, I really didn't know what to do, so I pulled out the law card and used the law, what the written rules were. At the